Hello, hello, hello. I'm hoping everybody can hear me. If anybody's in the chat, please let me know if you can hear me. That would be appreciated above everything. Welcome to season 3. Season 3, round 19. Kyalami, South Africa. Hey, bloody prawns. Get the prawns there, eh? But I'm back. We're back. After a good few weeks away, some live stuff. We're back today. So I'll be just as surprised as you guys when it comes to seeing our leaderboard, our standings, because I have absolutely no idea who's where, what's who, and who's the quickest anymore. And the only thing I can really go off is these standings and the race itself. So they're about to start quali. I might have been a little bit late, just switching over. But if we're just gonna go off our top 3 here, Nathan Corsiel, Schroeder, and Joris Peters Weem are our top title contenders at the moment. All within what's that, about 30 points of one another. So it's all still up for grabs. 4 races to go. We're gonna move over now. And get live with the qualifying. And I just hope you can't see it. You can. There we go. It took a little while, but we're there. If I do that, and then if I just quickly set up a few things to see who we're on board with, and it is Hallgaard. And I think, if I can see, I don't know who it is. Who's ahead of him? Schroeder, by the looks of it. Let's jump on Schroeder. The man to start it all. The man to start the times of Kyalami. Oh, God. I mean, we're in a bit of wet weather here, so that could prove to be a lot of fun, hopefully. No one really ever prepares himself for a wet race, especially on ACC. So, it's not usually a common thing. So I'm hoping I cause a little bit of drama, a little bit of a mix-up today in the race, and that's we got like we have a mandatory pit stop today. It's a 60-minute race, 1 mandatory pit stop. So it's all going to come down to strategy, which in past races we didn't think was such a big deal, but we've seen massive mix-ups due to strategy alone in some of these past races. So hoping that is also a massive factor today in this race. And Schroeder will now be starting his hot lap with Hallgaard, quite close behind him. I hope this doesn't end up in a bit of a weird conflict. I'd preferably like a little bit more space with my hot lap, but Schroeder is one of the fastest ones, so take into account that maybe might get pull a little bit of space, and we can use that for reference to see who's the quicker one here. But giving off past races, I think, and the standings, I think Schroeder is the man to beat. With a bit of Corsiel and a little bit of Joris Peters, if he's here, he's in the Lambo. So it's Schroeder. The race is Schroeder and Joris Peters to take, if I'm correct. I think Corsiel is in here as well. So actually, yeah, it's might be a big fight for the top. I hope it's all within very touching distance of one another. We've got a good healthy 19 races today as well, so hoping that helps with the racing a little bit, because these 60-minute races can be quite long. And now we're looking at the track right now. We're not too far now from Schroeder finishing his first hot lap. That fast right-hander into the last straight. Always a bit of a tricky one, that. Always very scared to touch the gravel on the exit. Comes through, and he is going to get a 146.6. Oh, God. We don't count him out. 146.5 in the Honda. Not usually a fan favourite Joris Peters Weem comes behind at 147.3. Verhulst 147.5. We're short with a 148.1. That is our current top 5. And they're going to have to improve massively if they want to get even close to Hallgaard. We're just going to switch down between some people. We've got Big Jabber here. He's just putting at 150.6. We've got Angel in the Mercedes. Hitting on the last stretch with his teammate just ahead of him as well. 150.2 for Wolf. Sherlock 151.7. Angel is on a high. He's not got time yet. He'll be doing his time now. We will have a look in a minute. But currently, Hallgaard is still our leader, and it looks like he's putting out a little bit of a fresh lap here. He is a tenth up on his lap, but Schroeder going 4 attempts upon his on his previous lap, which will put him in P1 if he is to complete it without any more mistakes, or any mistakes, sorry. Alapin pushing to P3 in the Ferrari with a 146.6, not far behind Schroeder at all, but Schroeder is about to blow everybody out the water soon with the last corner. 6-7 tenths ahead. Must have had a little bit of a skirmish moment last lap. 7 tenths now. And it is provisional P1 for Schroeder, as we predicted. 145.9, that is the one to beat. He has set the bar very high for the other drivers. Hallgaard remaining in P2 with a 146.5. He did improve, but only by a tenth, and he's doing some little pre-victory spins by the looks of it. Oh, and Alapin puts into P2, knocking Hallgaard down the order, and he's a 146.2, and that's not too far from Schroeder at all. That is within contention, and I'm not sure if he might be sticking out another lap here to improve on that. I guess you'll have to see how it goes. We'll catch back up with Alapin further down, because at the moment Joris Peters Weem is nearly 2 attempts up on his. Corsial in P8 in a McLaren finds himself in, he's 9 attempts on his lap. This is going to put him. It's going to put him up the order. Oh, and commentator's curse. He's just dropped 6. He's drifting everywhere. The back tyres are everywhere, and I want to blame that on the McLaren, because at the moment I have a severe dislike for this car. But regardless of the drifting, he has improved, but just not massively, and it does put him into P7 currently, which I think Corsial will probably want to improve on massively, because there is definitely potential to do it. There is potential to do it, and okay, we had a moment. He nearly drifted off into space, but I'm just going to quickly just do something. What's wrong with... Give this a little... It's perfect. So there we go. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. And we're just going to look at who's improving. Verhulst, our boy Clark Kent, Superman himself. Still disappointed we don't have a Superman livery for Clark Kent yet. But he is 5 attempts up on his lap, which will... Oh, it actually doesn't put him up. J-Wolf keeps Clark Kent out here unless he can manage to pull a 10th on this last corner. Which he does, and J-Wolf is now compromised to being taken from P5. How close are we looking? No, he doesn't make it. He just doesn't make it. He's out. J-Wolf with the 146.5, 540, and Kent with the 146, 610. So it's not a massive gap at all. It can definitely be done by Kent. And we've had no movement of the top 4 at the moment. Schroeder's still in the lead with a 145.9. Alapin resting in the pits. I don't know if he'd be. No, he's not got time for one more. So I think could be Schroeder, unless Joris Peters Weem has something to say about it. Unfortunately, I do not have Joris's livery, but so he just looks like, I don't know, the Batmobile just getting around the track. which in some essence kind of looks a little bit cool. You know, we got Clark Kent, we got Joris Peters Wien's Batmobile. It's all coming up DC. So, but the improvement here is not going to be near enough improvement for Joris to solidify P2 or even P1. But Hallgaard throws into provisional pole with a 145.6, and wet weather might just be Hallgaard's calling, and Schroeder now will have to pull out all the stops to reclaim that position, and he's only got 2 corners to do it, and he's only a 10th up now. Last corner, make or break for P1. There won't be another chance after this, and it's not looking like he's done it, and Hallgaard might be our pole position for the race, and he's not done it. He's not done it. Hallgaard, currently there is not many contenders left. Obviously, Joris does have time to another lap, but he's already 5 tenths down. Doesn't look like he's trying to make an improvement. Kent, P6, don't think he's in contention for P1. Krebs has done his lap. P10 for Krebs. Verhulst just ahead of him in P9. And he's not improving. Metternich not improving. Malcolm, P13, also not improving. And Schlowick in the Ferrari is improving. I'm not sure what this was. It's 3 tenths up. And will it be enough to be past Dawn? I'm afraid not. That'll be it for Schlowick, P16. And Hallgaard is our P1 for the round 9 at South Africa Kyalami. In a fantastic. I don't think we've seen Hallgaard hit P1 before. So this is a massive occasion. Get the champagne out. He'll now have to do it in the race, mind you. But if it's wet, then it looks like it might be Hallgaard's calling. Might be Hallgaard's race. I have my fingers crossed. We love a mix-up. We love an underdog. So fingers crossed. But if we're looking at it now, Hallgaard P1, Schroeder P2, Aliapin in the Ferrari P3, Joris Peters Wiem P4. We have Schroeder and Peters Wiem there close. J Wolf P5, Kent P6, Corsial in the disappointing P7. He's got a lot of work to do if he's to stay within contention of winning the ACC League. Shaw P8, Verhulst P9, Krebs P10, Metternich P11, Angel P12, Malcolm P13, Sherlock P14, Dawn P15, Schlowick P16, 17 is Jabber, P18 is Wilson, and P19 is Schulz. Well, I think a lot of these races are going to be hoping for a dry race, because I think a lot of them might have lost a little bit of form, but it doesn't look like a case. It looks as if it's still wet, and that is going to be disappointment for some of the people who probably aren't as experienced in the wet. And so the track looks a little bit dark, but I think waiting for the lights to be turned on for this night race. Didn't even know we were doing a night race, but we appreciate a night race. We appreciate a night race, or at least I do. Aesthetically pleasing. It's nice to look at. Okay. We do have the setups being done now for the races. We have done the formation lap, and the race will be underway, led by Hallgaard. And I could be mistaken. I haven't been around for a few weeks, but I've not seen Hallgaard take a P1 in qualifying, nor lead a race. So, touch wood. That's me. I'm knocking on wood. If anybody, visualize it. That's Vic. Knocking on wood. The Hallgaard has a great race. I really do hope that we find not to put Schroeder and Peters Wiem down. I want those guys to do well too, but we like an underdog, right? And Hallgaard's my underdog. That's all. I'd like to see a J Wolf come up, maybe even our own very own Superman Clark Kent. But we'll see. We'll see where this goes. And fortunately, now we have to go through the slower part of the race, which will be the formation lap of these of our drivers going around this track, getting a little bit, like a bit of a feel. sure hope there's a formation now, because I'd be very embarrassed if there isn't. But I'm sure there is. I could do a bit of drink, so I apologize if you hear me chugging on a drink, but I do very much need one with that. I'll try a little different view. There's a lot of rain on this. You know what we need for this one? We need oh, actually, I wonder if they do have it. I was gonna say that. Oh god, no, not that. I was hoping, you know, what we need is a little bit like those F1 views. You know, where it's in the helmet, but it just looks really cinematic. Those are the views I like the most. Those are the best ones. You see it on F1 Manager at the moment, and it just looks absolutely amazing. I wish we could have it in that same sort of cinematic look to it. Alas, we don't, but we do have ACC's incredible graphics. So, I suppose those will do. Beggars can't be choosers. You know, at least we have a replay system on ACC. That's what, you know, something we could be grateful about as well. A replay system. Have a look at these little different views we got here. The nosy. I like it a lot. I'm going to try and incorporate these a lot. I love the helicam shot. Helicam shot's one of my favourites too. So there's a massive appreciation for this shot. Get down the field, let's have a look here. It's like a nice, very, very nice and healthy mixture of cars in the field. I've noticed as well. I think when we first started out in this season, there was a lot of Ferrari. There's a lot of McLaren, because I think the McLaren was new. And it's nice just to kind of see those new cars kind of settle in and now actually like kind of find a place within the game, as opposed to everybody just kind of jumping on them and just being oversaturated with McLarens or a BMW like back in day, or thingy, you know. And I'm seeing 2 Lambos. It's not enough Lambos. We need more Lambos. Big up to Joris Petersweem. Big up Big Jabber. I'm here for the Lambo. Love. Lambo is top tier car. If you say otherwise, you're wrong. It is the best by far. So good. Such a nice car. I need to see more Lambo. But respect to people who drive the Porsche, because that is yeah, I'm not about that life. And we are now actually finally getting closer to the start of the race. One more corner to go. After this one, we'll be on our start straight, and Hallgaard will be looking to make a great getaway, and Schroeder will be looking to be as opportunistic as possible to cement the P1 position to take the lead here. And we're crawling to the line now. We just have to wait. I wish we had the lights here. It'd be so much easier to know when things start. But I'm just going to assume it's when we cross the line and it's lights out and away we go. There we go, boys. And Schroeder gets off to a great start. And Hallgaard, I think, was just a little bit reluctant on just going too fast in that moment of time there. But he does have the inside and he dives down it. I'm just hoping to God there's not a touch, and there isn't. It's nice and clean. Hallgaard keeps his position. No crashes at the back. No crashes. Surely not. Little bit of a bump. Oh, the holes just get up in that little bit of a mess with Krebs there, and it gets a little bit conjoined at the back, but it's fine. Everyone is through safe. And God, do I love the way this game looks at night. I really do. Let's go to TV2. Hallgaard now keeping his lead. Schroeder and Petersweem following behind, fighting for any point that they can to take P2 and P3 from one another, or potentially P1 from Corsiel. Ken in the Aston Martin, very close behind. Wolf following him in the lime green Porsche, and I think that is supposed to have a nice delivery, but it doesn't load properly, unfortunately. Alien Pin, that's a new Ferrari. Went for, I think he's gone down a few positions. I think he started pretty high up. He's gone down, but the Ferrari isn't strong starts. It's not a strong start. Corsiel No movement from P7. A lot of work to do, but he's got an hour to do it. Krebs and Verhulst battling the McLarens. An Angel in the Mercedes just behind him, and there is, I think, Hallgaard has had a moment. Oh, he's lost his P1 position. I'm not sure what might have happened. It could have been anything. I would use the replay system, but I'm always a little bit afraid that it might break the stream, so I don't really want to risk it. But it's a shame, and I hope we can find what the reason for that was. And so now Schroeder will be happy now because all he has to do is stay ahead. That's his only job. Oh, and preferably a good strategy, you know, would help that situation naturally. But Schroeder is now probably where he thought he should be. Peter Sweem in the Lambo, the Batmobile. Kent behind him, and I think no, we're good. Yeah, that's fine. Kent behind in P3, Wolf in P4, Alipin P5, Corsial moving up position due to Hallgaard's mistake, P6. But I don't think Hallgaard has given up yet. Keeping in mind he was the fastest in qualifying, so it's only safe to assume that his race pace might just be quicker. He throws it up on the inside, and Hallgaard just comfortably takes that position from our title leader right at the moment. And now he's got a bit more work to do. He's got to catch up to Eliapin, he's got to get Wolf, he's got to get Kent, and he's got to get Weeman, he's got to get Schroeder. But he's already took one down. I'm just going to look at a little bit further down. Malcolm putting the pressure on Slowick in the Ferrari. I don't know if the Ferrari's a very good car for this track. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. The BMW just seems to be a bit of an all-around beast as far as I'm concerned. Sherlock, our fellow German, rocking his German brand car. We love to see that. And he's being followed closely by Metternich, who looks on the inside but thinks otherwise. Thinks, no, I think I'll avoid that one. We see Hallgaard take alien pin now. He moves to P5 and Hallgaard's back on the charge. And just as he says it, he goes up, he hits the wall. He comes in the back, he takes off Caulfield with him. And they have to come off the track. What has happened? Oh my god. And who is that with? Is that Caulfield? And oh, the championship leader has found himself caught in a trap of sorts that he can't escape from, of Hallgaard's mistake. And any points that he thought maybe he could get today have already looked like they've gone. Thankfully, there is 55 minutes left of the race to do the race, and it's extremely unfortunate. Poor Hallgaard, I said I didn't want the commentator's curse on Hallgaard, but it seems we gave it him without any sort of consent. So, mistake 1, lost 6 positions. Mistake 2, seems as if like the race is pretty much over for Hallgaard now. And any glimpse of P1 that was in there, especially when he was back on that charge, because he is fast. But it seems now that's gone, and it will be a fight now to reclaim any sort of points he can get. And J Wolf following, getting the personal best lap with a 146.9. Hello Tom, how goes it, buddy? And Aliapin P5, Verhulst P6. There's little gaps being formed now. A huge gap being formed with the top 5. Verhulst in no man's land by himself. Q Acon lonely because Verhulst is by himself now. And if I have any experience of ACC races, and being in no man's land is the lonely experience. He's so ill he can't stop sneezing. He's so ill. Yeah. I see you on Total War Rome, Tom. Okay. You're not fooling me, buddy. Alright. The Romans wouldn't let you lead their army, knowing that you sneeze all the time. Just saying. It's a chink in the armour. It's a chink in the phalanx. Malcolm is in P7, Mernick P8. And it is a tight bunch here, all within a second of one another. A little midfield battle of sorts. Of Malcolm, Metternich, Slowick, and Sherlock, who decides to take the new rally track road on Kyalami. Oh, a little coming together. Sherlock avoids. And Metternich gets all out sauce. He's flashing his lights in anger, in despair. And I think that might have been Slowick and Metternich who just come together there. And we're seeing a little bit of that. And that allows Sherlock to maybe not so much close the gap, but it does put him in a better position for points. And now you'll have Metternich behind him. And Hallgaard, after his terrible start to the race, has a lot of work to do now as he comes back out the pit. And I think that's his mandatory pit stop, so I'm thinking for Hallgaard, he probably just stays on those tyres for the rest of the race. And see if he can take any sort of advantage from doing that extremely long stint. But Slowick and Malcolm coming close there. Hallgaard making his gap, showing that he is quicker here. And making an escape from these, not so much back markers, but the midfield pack. All Hallgaard has to do is keep it on track. And who knows? But at the end of the race, it will be a sticky one. It will be a sticky one. And Malcolm goes extremely wide, which allows Slowick to hit into P7. And the gaining of positions here from just mistakes instead of overtakes, instead of actual overtakes, is kind of incredible. I think the midfield pack are just waiting for one another to make a mistake. And Krebs is lurking like a vulture behind, waiting for the opportune moment. A hyena. A McLaren hyena. Take a little drink there because it's thirsty work. Clark Kent. Look at Schroeder. Look at his clothes on the inside. Not giving him any space. Nice, great defended by Schroeder. He gave Kent a decision to make. Will he take it? Will he not? And Peters Weem takes P1 from Schroeder now, which allows that little bit of a switch up in the championship standing. Schroeder's not going to want to let Kent or J Wolf make this any harder for himself than he's already made it for himself. J Wolf coming around the outside of Kent. Kent on the inside. Gets more of the track, but hits a little bit of dirt. Gives J Wolf an opportunity moment to just look on the inside. Sends a little bit side by side. He's got the better exit. They're stuck to one another. And there's a great saying from Cars 3, but I have absolutely no idea what that is. But they're still saying this is fantastic racing. Coming up to the slight hairpin now. Who is brave enough to send it? J Wolf gonna have to want to cut that inside off, and he does it. It's the old switcheroo. Kent back on the inside now. J Wolf on the outside, and J Wolf just takes that position, and he's holding it for now. But this is a fantastic race, a fantastic fight between these two drivers. What a fight that was! That was insane. Massive props to these two. That was great. Kent is fast. Kent's fast, but Wolf is also fast. So it does not matter. These two will be probably racing all the way to the end. I think Wolf's been in a few races where he was fighting for the win. Actually, some of them. So, but what a little fight that was. Great entertainment, and it's not over yet. Kent is still looking for that little moment where Wolf might just be a bit slow on an exit, a bit slow in the corner, to take that from him. And Ailapin in the back like a shark, smelling blood of this battle. And J Wolf and Kent might need a bigger boat once Alien Pin starts catching him a little bit closer. And there is other stuff going on around the track, but I am glued to this little trio here. God, I'm gonna probably regret it, but I'm just gonna move over to this little thing now because we still have a little midfield fight here between Slowick, Sherlock, Malcolm, and Metternich, and it's just going crazy in all places of the track. Our top two are close to one another. We have a nice little top fight for P3, a midfield fight. I did say Verhulst will now enter no man's land. Not fast enough to stick with the top runners, not slow enough to be in the midfield pack. So it's either easy points for him or, you know, if he makes a mistake, which I hope he doesn't. And I've really got to stop giving people the commentator's curse. I do it quite often. But when you're by yourself, you got to make a bit of conversation with yourself. You get what I'm saying? It's not an easy job. I don't get paid enough for this. I don't think I get paid at all, actually. Malcolm on the outside. Sherlock goes side by side. A little bit of a touch. I think Sherlock might have just predicted Malcolm's entry a little bit wrong there. And now Metternich looks to take and seize the opportunity that Sherlock has gave him by nudging Malcolm a little bit. Gets into the slipstream. Nobody wants to be behind Sherlock, buddy. That is some sort of curse. I don't know. It reminds me. There's it's like pushing the boulder up. You push it up and you push it up. You're always destined for it to fall back on you, and then you push it up again, and then that is Sherlock. That's what it's like being behind him. It is a perpetual state of terribleness, sadness. But Malcolm might be proven us wrong by taking the inside, because Sherlock goes extremely wide and gets all out of sorts. Malcolm hits side by side now. Sherlock taking the inside. Looks like he breaks a little later. As Malcolm got the better exit, sits behind Sherlock again. And he's just looking at the inside. Will he make the move? He doesn't. Gets out of shape on the curb. Metternich just looking for his opportunity to get into this fight. And he doesn't quite pull that off either. He is getting desperate out there for P6, and as this is all happening, I'd assume that Slowick would be trying to take advantage of this fighting behind him, but it seems like the only person really taking advantage of this fighting is Krebs, who has slowly just been creeping up behind. Pokemon in the grass. Yeah, we have. There's a couple of straights. There's a couple moments where you can overtake, but you have to be. It's all about your entries here and your exits, man. And there are some corners on this track where you can really just fly right off, and it just be the end of your race. So, I feel like the second to last corner, like fast right, and you have to stay on the. It's not got a runoff. It's just gravel, dude. So if you put your left tire on there, it is curtains for anybody who touches that. And as we there on Krebs, there's still some fighting going on here with Sherlock. Malcolm looking on the outside. Metternich gets caught up a little bit in Malcolm's braking. Oh, we're just going to go down the field, show a little bit of love to some people. We now still ahead, 1 second ahead. Wolf following behind in P3. Seems like he's created a gap now from Alepin, which will hopefully put him a little bit, give him a little calmer situation. Maybe a aspiration of sorts now to push for Schroeder, but I think this will be mostly down to strategy, pit stops, and when people decide to come in and come out. I'm not entirely sure of whether the undercut or the overcut is more powerful, but what we do see quite often is that the undercut is usually the strategy to go for. So I guess we're going to find out sooner or later if J-Wolf can close that gap and look at potential P1 or P2. But right now, especially if we're looking at lap times or frequent lap times, it's either going to be Peter Zweem or Schroeder. So we got the Ayla pin now behind Wolf. Verhulst are probably our most consistent driver. Verhulst is the man who never seems to be challenging for the top podiums, but never too far behind. It's P5 to P7 consistently. It wouldn't surprise me if to look at the championship leaderboard. I didn't quite come across his name, as I didn't really give us enough time to look where he was in the championship standing. But I bet you it's top 5. I would be surprised if it wasn't, because Verhulst is just consistent. Schlowick is behind Verhulst, but it's by a whopping 13 seconds. And yeah, I was thinking, Tom, where was Kent in all this? Why have the gaps all of a sudden just been changed in the top 5? But now I know Kent has pitted early, and although the undercut will be nice, it is a 40 minutes of him on those tyres. So we'll have to see how that goes for him. And the fight in the midfield is still going strong. And we were talking about Krebs just sneaking up on this pack, and it seems now he has finally done it. Just like the clever girl Velociraptor from Jurassic Park, he is now behind the other drivers. And the Sherlock being the Sherlock train, I was just about to say it, Tom. The Sherlock train. And we say the Sherlock train, he does go extremely wide there, giving Malcolm the opportunity to take P7 from him. But giving Sherlock, not only does he defend well, but he also attacks like a complete savage. And there won't be a minute's rest for Malcolm here now. And Krebs does take Metternich there as well. Krebs, again, like we say, slowly creeping. Krebs used to be one of our fastest drivers. Still think he's up there. I just think maybe Kyalami might not be the race that he's strongest in. Or maybe the McLaren. Maybe it's just the McLaren. That's an easy thing to blame. I'd blame on the McLaren if I was in McLaren's fault, not mine. Not skill issue. Take a quick drink there. Malcolm. Still leading this midfield pack. And this is the closest fight that we have at the moment on the track. So it's going to be quite difficult to want to pull away from this. 936, drive through with some track limits, and 936 is Corsial. And every time I commentate these races with Corsial, it always seems to go from bad to worse. And I wish I could say nicer things, but it always does end up being Corsial getting caught up in some controversial track limits, drive-through penalties. And you've probably heard me say this a few times about Corsial, but another one to forget this season. Clearly, any points now, it seemed to be just it's not going to happen. It's really not. Like, not from this position. No undercut will save Corsial's race, I don't think. And we're drive through now as well. On top of it, this allows Schroeder and Joris to now close the gap from P2 and P3 to P1, which is Corsial, and he's going to be massively under threat in the last 3 races of this season. We're just going to move around a bit now. So Schroeder coming up the back marker of our current championship leader at the moment, our season leader, Corsial, which I think he'll be happy to see Corsial so far back, knowing that he might be able to take P1 next race, or even this race. Maybe, I think it's this race. I think the gap was maybe 22, 23 points. Could be this race. Could be this race. Joris following close behind in the Batmobile. 2 seconds. Schroeder creating that gap. But these two still very close in contention and both fighting for the championship leader. He could be. He was in the fight. He was in the fight. He could well be. We are dismissing Kent, but we can only see because Kent will be our reference to whether or not the undercut or the overcut will be the decider, or even just pitting at the 30-minute marker. You know, half and half, maybe. Tires do seem to go. When the tires go on this game, boy, do you feel it. It's so difficult sometimes to get those laps out that you need, and especially if you've got somebody else charging behind you, it just gets so much more dicier. Well, let's see if he's had free air. Let's go have a look. Where's that boy? I mean, the pin is in front of him. This is, I mean, I guess you could consider this free air. It depends if he's been closing the gap on A-Lipin the whole time, which I imagine he has been with fresher tyres. So I assume free air. He's just got to maintain them tyres massively. Because the more you push them tyres, the worse it's going to be towards the end of the race. Those last 10 minutes are going to count for everything. And if Kent's tyres are dead by that time, you best believe that Schroeder and Joris will take advantage of that situation, especially on the premise that their tyres will be looking at around 20 minutes more fresher, or maybe 15 than Kent's. So, and 15 minutes on ACC is a long time. Long time. And we've had some people back out the race, and I feel like I've missed a few crashes here and there, and by the looks of it, we have lost Schulz. No, we've not lost Schulz. That is a lie. Who have we lost? We've lost Jabba. I know for a fact we've lost Jabba. I know for a fact we've lost Jabba. That was on the bingo cards anyway. Yeah, of course you did, man. Of course you did. Oh my god. Jabber, if you can, tell me who else has gone out, man. There's people dropping off like flies here. I can't keep up. I think Corsial he's given up as well. He's gave up, so we are now from started at 19 races and now down to 15. Shock. I know, Tom, I know. Massive shock. We were all incredibly surprised at Jabba dying. He's not quite Big Six. That's what it is. It's just not quite Big Six. And Dawn just behind Schulz, and I think Dawn might be a little bit quicker. And it was funny because Schulz's car was flashing, and all I get in my head when I see that flashing red light there is ERS. And Schulz is all out of ERS. We go back to the midfield fight here now. Sherlock. Malcolm has made a gap. Malcolm has made a little bit of a gap, which I think will be a massive relief to him. Because the least person I know I'd want behind me is Sherlock. Or even in front. I just won't want either. So now we have a new, different. As Malcolm makes the gap, we now have a different 4 in this midfield. And it looks like Angel has somewhat creeped into this. And we've not seen much of Angel this race up until now. And all the fighting going on with this midfield pack has allowed Angel to slowly creep his way. And look, I say creep his way, he's pit. And this could be the perfect strategy now, just above the 30-minute mark for Angel to come into the pits, finds himself behind the midfield pack, undercuts all of them. Maybe, theoretically. Maybe. You know, we don't know yet. It's a theory. But he could, he's going for the undercut. When he comes out And when he does that and they do theirs, he's going to want to be in front of them for. That is the strategy here now from Angel. And it was perfectly done. Wait to catch up, wait to get behind him, slot right in, undercut all four of him. And we'll keep an eye on Angel as well, because I think that's going to be the play. That's the one we want to watch, for sure. If we go for it again, Schroeder now with a 2.3 second lead on Peter Zweem. Again, strategy being probably the biggest decider of this race for P1 and P2. J-Wolf, P3, following close behind. He's praying for some sort of hiccup or mistake to create a chance for more points for himself. But podium position for J-Wolf, I think, will be a good position for J-Wolf. But again, we can't count out Superman. Can't count him out. His undercut might be huge. So, Ailey Pin, speaking of undercuts, Ailey Pin goes in for his mandatory pit stop. And we were talking of undercuts earlier. I want to see if Kent now will pass Ailey Pin in the pits. And he's got quite a while to go before that's possible. I don't know, Tom. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm assuming if Ailey Pin's done his pit and he's come out P9, but Kent did his pit 10 minutes ago and he's still P14, surely. He must have. It must have. There's no way it hasn't. Because I am just like, what? Surely he would be like way further up. So it must have been a massive... He must have had a moment, but I can't see any damage. I don't see anything. God, I love the sound of the cars in this game. God knows. God knows. We were going to use Kent as our reference to see how strong that might have been, but now it's looking as if maybe Kent's race is pretty much it's gone in the bin. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. And Peter Zweem still P2, 2.3 second gap. That hasn't improved, nor do I think it's gotten any worse. They are just that of the same pace currently. Both hit 146.7s. So again, any mistake made, it's all down to strategy now. Strategy will probably be the decider of these races. Malcolm P3, but I don't think that's a legit P3. I think we found some people in the pits, Schlowick, Sherlock, and we was talking about Angel's potential undercut, and I do want to see this above anything. Here we come, and we've hit the 30-minute marker. So only 30 minutes more of this race. Schroeder comes into pit, be the first to pit now, and I think he will have to follow in next to him. There's no way if Peter Zweem stays out. I don't think that would have been the correct choice, but here's an Angel now. Has the undercut worked? Who is that? That's his teammate side by side, and it's not as worked as strong as we might have thought it would have, but it does put him in a better position. It does, because Schlowick is behind him. The undercut worked a little bit. Only a little bit. Not as strong as we thought it might have been. So, any early undercut now is looking like a giant mistake. unless it could be just Angel's pit. But Sherlock was the leader of that pack, if I remember, and Angel being just behind Sherlock now can only really be a good thing, especially on the premise that they're teammates. And we could see our little... Yeah, I think, yeah, Sherlock was part of that, wasn't he? Yeah, so I think that was definitely a thing. I'm just surprised at how Sherlock's managed to get that gap. I don't know what... It must be something to do with the pits. But we got a pair of silver arrows here, and they're probably going to be hoping for a more Lewis Hamilton Bottas sort of situation, and not a Lewis Hamilton and Rosberg situation. But we do appreciate a bit of racing. You know what I mean? Give us a bit of racing, boys. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't sit behind one another. Well, they might have to. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. But it depends if Sherlock's faster or not. Pete's been going into pit. Schroeder pitting a lap earlier. Give him the advantage now. It's all in his hand on this lap to keep the lead he forged only earlier in the race, which was a good healthy 2 seconds. It was about as healthy as any gap. And I think it has massively helped Schroeder for him to pit just one lap earlier, because now Joris has only just escaped from his pit, and the gap is definitely going to be more than 2 seconds now, I imagine. And I could be wrong. Actually, there isn't much difference at all. If anything, now Joris actually has fresher tyres. I thought the gap would be much bigger. He somehow got it shorter. Yeah, maybe the undercut isn't a thing at all in this game, or at least in this race. I think this might have been a pit issue. But Joris puts the 2.3 second gap to 1.9 now. So, and he's on the lap fresher tyres, 1 lap fresher tyres. So, you know, Joris is to lose really, or Schroeder's, I guess. I'm going to go down the field a little bit, and Kent has crept up behind Angel now, and Angel's not going to want to be making those types of mistakes with an Aston Martin behind you. Those can lead to some pretty sticky situations. And Sherlock seems to... What has happened? What has happened? What have we missed? What have we missed? He must have. This is the problem with being by myself, man. I don't get to see... We just miss these pivotal moments. Angel. Yeah. Oh, maybe it was. Maybe that could have been it. They were the only ones close enough to one another. But now... Or maybe something happened to Sherlock, because Sherlock just... You know what? I think that's what happened. Because look how far Sherlock was behind. Now Sherlock's only got a bit of a smaller gap to Sherlock, and I think Angel might have just been on the bit of a receiving end of a bit of a bump there. Seems maybe we did have a bit of a Lewis and thingy, but I could be wrong. We just love fabricating a few stories. J Wolf sitting in the tidy little P3 with 7.3 seconds behind. So all Wolf will now have to do is sit tidy here. Don't do anything dangerous, don't do anything stupid, and he has 100% secured himself a podium position. Doesn't need to push, I wouldn't imagine so. Haley Pin and Wolf are doing the same lap times as one another. So yeah, Wolf wouldn't have to push or anything like that at the moment to solidify that podium for himself. Verhulst, Mr. Consistent, P5 still, but Dawn is creeping in P6. Where has Dawn come from? He's not pit. That's where he's come from. He's not pit. When will Dawn pit? We might find ourselves in a situation like a few races back where I think one of the drivers left it. Oh, no. Sorry, Dawn. I apologise. Saved it a little bit, though. He saved it. He saved it. But, you know, fair play to Dawn. But as I was saying before, Dawn nearly commits seppuku on the track. Could find himself, you know, doing a little last lap pit that we saw a few races back, which kind of worked actually. If I remember it working actually pretty well. So, and seeing as the undercut here isn't as strong as we probably thought it was, I think it's probably doable. To be honest, it's probably doable. Sherlock managed to keep his gap on Schlowick for now. Hopefully no more mistakes are made for Sherlock. And Kent following behind, and he seems to be doing better for himself. I mean, like we said earlier, there must have been a mistake made of sorts. But it seems now he's back on the charge. He's back in full flow with his Aston Martin, the beekeeper's car, the hairdryer, and he's probably going to be on the charge for a few more points. That being said, can't forget that he is on the older tyre, so towards the last 10 minutes we could definitely see these tyres drop off significantly, and those who he does pass could be quickly catching back up to him in no time. No skill issue, not at all. Algard, same position as Kent in terms of potentially. Well, we know with Algard there were mistakes made. We saw them happen live. 4K captured them. However, he'll have to be on the charge now as well. And we are speaking of Algard. He has just set the fastest lap of the race. So had it not been for Halgard's mistakes, we could have been looking at Halgard P1, which is a huge shame, massive shame, because that could have been something. Do love a good underdog. I'm afraid I think we've lost that now. I'm just going to quickly check something. Ah, okay. Yep, that's fine. Look through again. Schulz P13. Malcolm significantly dropped down the order. P14. It seems the pit stop hasn't helped him in the slightest. He did, I think he pit a little bit later than everybody else, and unfortunately for Malcolm, what had him in a good fight for the for some good points, now it seems to be probably a big mistake made. In quali, let me have a look. Trying to remember now. In quali it was, it doesn't quite tell me who came where in quali. Angel in the Merc got 148.5 Oh, why are you talking about 3 minutes in this, man? What are you talking about bloody F1 for? I'm all mixed up. Got me all mixed up, man. Yeah, I mean, I've got it on behind me. I've got it on behind me. Who's this? That's not Alipin. No, it's not. Thought so. And in the last 20 minutes of this race, gaps have been formed now. I genuinely thought you meant like a ACC update. I thought you meant like a BOP performance update or something. So I was like looking at Mercedes and fucking Sherlock and Angel, like, oh yeah, let's have a look, dude. Oh, Alien with a drift. You're not in Tokyo right now. Oh god, let's go for P4 now. Verhulst, as we talk about the most consistent driver, he has to put his foot on the gas, take advantage of the situation, and go, Verhulst. P4 is up for grabs. There will be massive damage now on Alipin, which will definitely affect his race time. And now Verhulst has 20 minutes to take advantage of the damage on that car. I mean, I think Alipin will probably be wanting to tough this one out and carry on instead of pitting. You won't want to pit now, it's a bit too late. Pit now, your whole race is gone. You'll have to just stick this one out and hopefully he can kind of keep some positions with it. Oh god. And we find ourselves in the inevitable Sherlock train. It's happened again somehow. We've ended up in this. It's almost a black hole on the racetrack. It is inevitable. He is the Thanos of this track. It's just, where there's a Sherlock, there is a train, and it doesn't matter what racing game you play with this man. It's every time. It's a paradox. We are in some sort of paradox with this man. It's Groundhog Day. Look, how does it happen? It's like everyone gravitates towards Sherlock's bumper, and that's the only place they can stay. They can't do anything else. And Ken's going to be wanting to like take advantage of this situation now, clear these two cars, and create a fantastic comeback drive from him. Because I don't think Ken is on the strategy that I think he would wanted to have been on. And the quicker he makes these positions, the better, because he's still got them old tyres to keep going. And it'll probably be only a matter of time before your skill is no longer prevalent, because your tyres will be so dead that even those who are slower than you on track will make the time up. And Sherlock looks as if he just nearly got a source but held on. Go down now, Schlowick. Angel has again crept up from behind. Not sure how he's managed that, but he's done it. And the recovery drive from whatever mistake was made then is on. And if I was Angel, I'd be just looking ahead, hoping that those four just keep battling whilst you just slowly pull out better laps. Hallgaard's still keeping his personal best. Dawn in the pits. I think that's... Who else is in the pits? Is that Krebs in the pits too? It is. Krebs is in the pits as well. And I don't know if that's his pit stop. I wouldn't think it was. I know that was Dawn's pit stop. I know he left it quite late, and I say that was his pit stop. I think... Where's he gone? Dawn has disappeared off the planet. So I think Dawn's backed out the race now. I feel like his strategy might not have been the best one either. And not much has changed at the front. Schroeder still ahead. 3.7 second gap to Peter's Weem. The Batmobile. And it's going to take a big mistake from Schroeder, I think, for Weem to take that P1. And Wolf is 10 seconds behind that. And Alipin even further behind. Now I think he's had another spin. And now surely this is Verhulst's moment that we were talking about earlier to take that position from him. Surely now there is far too much damage on that car for Alipin to keep P4 and for Verhulst to stay in P5. Like, surely. The gap made was huge and the pace difference was massive, clearly, but with that damaged car, you've got to be doing more. You've got to push now. You can see the injured Gazelle, and you have to go for it, man. You have to pounce. Sherlock still somehow keeping Kent behind. Sherlock doing Sherlock thing. Kent looks at the curb, goes over it, breaks a little bit later on the outside. Sherlock covers it off, keeps strong on the inside, and keeps Kent behind him still. And Kent's gonna have another look in now. Pulls over to his side. Kent on the inside, makes the overtake. Sherlock goes wide. Keeps on track though. And the barricade. Oh! And Slowick just doesn't break. And he just hits Sherlock. And Angel takes that position from Sherlock as well. The torpedo, Slowick, all caught in 4K cameras. Just smashing Sherlock out of the way. Not even giving his position back either. Just letting that letting that slide. Oh god. We were talking about injured Gazelle show, but it turns out Sherlock was the one the whole time. Jesus. Sherlock's not going to be happy with that. We'll definitely see that in the FIA. That was abysmal. And Verhulst, even though we have seen the consistent mistakes made by Alipin, he still somehow manages to keep P4. Like, it's insane. I don't know how he has managed to hold that position with those two major crashes. The gap has to be utterly ridiculous. I mean, it is at least, what is he, 30? Oh, it's like 40-second, 50-second gap to P1. It is insane how big this gap is. And Verhulst is just, like we said a while back, once you're in no man's land on ACC, it really does just become a one-man race. Not always the worst thing, but you know, if you're looking for a bit of excitement in your race, this is definitely not where you want to be. Kent on potentially one of the biggest comeback drives we've seen this season, going from what looked like being completely out of the points and not being able to earn anything to now P6. Pulling out some respectable laps. And Angel is not much slower than Kent. So Slowick could find himself being overtaken by another silver Mercedes, only this time it won't be Sherlock, it'll be his teammate Angel. Angel will want revenge for the murder of Sherlock's Mercedes. Oh, you missed it early with J Wolf and oh god, who was it? Kraken. Cracking side by side it was. It's a good whole lap. It's insane. Angel looking on the inside. Slowick keeping it strong on the corner. Trying to defend those inside lines as much as possible. Angel, look at it here now. This will be the hairpin, and if you're going to make a move, it could be here around the outside. Maybe a little switcheroo. Slowick keeping good pace in that corner as well, in that hairpin. Not allowing Angel the opportunity to dive in on the inside. To be honest, F1 Chum, we've missed all the chaos. There was chaos here. Oh, in the same corner, Angel gives a little bit of a bump to Slowick. It's almost, oh my god, it almost felt choreographed. And Angel now will still be pressing hard on Slowick. Slowick is probably definitely feeling the pressure now. And if I was Angel, I would be pushing and pushing and pushing as hard as I can to get ahead of Slowick, and I would do my very best to back him up into Sherlock. That would be my plan there. Battle him as hard as you can. Push him wide. Have him struggle. Get your teammate back involved. We're now down a bit straight. The right curve here. A lot of time to be had here, depending on how you're taking it. Slowick not covering the inside, but Angel is not being that opportunistic, and you find yourself a little bit of a tussle there by the looks of it. A lot of water spraying off the back of Slowick, but I don't think it's going to stop Angel's drive. Hallgaard picking up a penalty. And it seems Kent will be the only one doing the fantastic comeback drive this race. See if we can look at the vision that they might be getting there. Angel again, looking on the outside. Slowick doing a fantastic job of... Yeah, did you not know? Oh, Sherlock getting all sorts in the back. He saves it. Oh, what drift. And in the fight of Angel trying to get past Slowick, you see Slowick has backed Angel up into Sherlock. And now we find ourselves with the two teammates, the Mercedes teammates together. Angel's going to have to make a move now. It has to be done. You have to send it. There's no other way. Push it wide. You don't give him the room. Oh, Slowick goes wide. Angel on the inside. Not side by side just yet. And Angel missing out on another opportunity to take that position. But it's so close between these two. And I'm sorry for staying on just these three particular drivers, but this is the most action-packed stuff we've got at the moment. Drive-through cleared from Hallgaard. Serve that quickly. If I was Slowick, I'd be sweating bullets. I'd be terrified. Having the two silver Mercedes behind you. And Angel and Sherlock being both very competent drivers. As much as we do give Sherlock the bit of the rub for being the train, the usual train, the black hole. In terms of defending, Sherlock is probably one of the best drivers we have. In terms of defending, I'm not gonna give him credit anywhere else. I'm not gonna do that. And Angel is a very consistent fast driver, and I don't want to say anything too soon just in case he went flying off the track there. I think personally, it doesn't really matter what Slowick does here. Although this is a great race to watch, and we're seeing these guys battle lap in, lap out. I I would find it very, very hard to think that Slowik would not be getting a penalty for what he did. It was pretty outrageous. Yeah, no, right. I mean, as soon as I say consistent or competent, like these guys just go flying off, man. It always seems to be the way. It's like I can't say anything about Corsial because every time I say something, he just goes flying off the track, or he gets the penalty. These must all just be of the exact same pace because Slowik is just not allowing any sort of moves to be made on him. And this is a very difficult track to make an overtake on unless you really do have some sort of like significant pace difference between you two. You really have to send it on one of these corners. I couldn't tell you if I'm sure, but it's probably most definitely a penalty of time penalty of sorts because he just full on barrels into the back of Sherlock, and thankfully for Sherlock it wasn't as bad for him, but he did push him off the track. He did lose position, and Slowik didn't really hand him the position back, you know, so which I think could play a massive part in whether or not the penalty might be a bit more severe or not. Yeah, I mean it's been a bit iffy lately. I've had a lot of stuff going on at home. I think it's the same for the other streamer that I'm usually with, Crucify. He's got a lot of stuff going on as well. These are supposed to be an every Friday thing, but obviously life situations do just kind of pop up. So it is a very kind of in the moment kind of ordeal for a lot of these streams on Friday at the moment. But hopefully we have a bit more stability going forward because God Lord knows we need it. And I never really mind doing these. They are a lot of fun. Just kind of hoping that we had a bit more of a closer race today. And it coming down to the last minute, soon we'll have to leave the fight between the Ferrari and the Mercedes to congratulate what looks like our race winner Schroeder. But I don't want to count all the chickens yet. Don't want to count all the chickens just yet. Never know what might happen. Never know what might happen. But if he's got a push now, this is the time, Angel. This is the time to go for it. There has to be some big dive, some sort of big play, psych him out, do whatever needs to be done. And I think we've got 30 seconds left, and I think this might be going to just one more lap. And Yoris is still in contention of a potential P1. It would just take a mighty mistake now from Schroeder to mess that up. And he has put the pressure on himself now because he does hit onto the last lap with 10 seconds left of the race. And anyone who finishes now will be solidifying their positions. Menich moving aside for Schroeder. Just going to quickly flick to these guys. I didn't want to drop this. It's like a bad habit. It's looking like Slowik may have fended off the Mercedes. They might have just done it. And that's, we were talking about Clark Kent's tyres for so long. It seems like as if it was never even a discussion to have. Angel now is not looking on the inside. I can't see because the camera's going nuts. Thankfully, when we see these guys finish this lap, we can quickly switch to Schroeder, who's not too far behind. We're coming up to the last few corners now, and it's make or break for Angel to get this position. And there's not a more satisfying feeling than having it done on track as opposed to a penalty. But I think that might just have to be the case now, unless Angel decides to send it on the inside. Go on. Oh, he was expecting it. You didn't do it. He would have done. And our race winner of Kyalami, South Africa, a very dominant race by Schroeder. He won. Goes to Schroeder. 2.5 second gap. Joris following there in P2. So now both Schroeder and Joris will be now so much more closely to P1 of Nathan Corsial on the premise that he could not finish this race. J Wolf getting a podium position at Kyalami. He will be happy with that result. Aliapin, despite mistakes made, will be getting P4, which will be a good result. I think he will take from that. If you were to look at the mistakes, I think, oh well, that could have been a lot worse. So I think Aliapin will be happy with that one as he crosses the line in that banged up yellow Ferrari. Verhulst fortunately wasn't fast enough to capitalise on Aliapin's mistakes, but does get a respectable P5. Kent coming into a P6. A great, fantastic comeback drive from what we might have thought was a mistake made or either a bad strategy. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. We missed, if there was a mistake, we missed it. But to come from the back and into P6 again is respectable. And we are, and we've missed something absolutely insane here, and I don't know what it was. And I'm gutted, but Sherlock has somehow hit into P7. Sherlock has somehow ended up in P8, and Angel into P9. And that is not the result I thought was going to occur there. And that's it, guys. Sherlock P8, Angel P9, Malcolm P10 or 11. Everyone's leaving now, so I can't quite give you an accurate. Oh, it's to your left there. Okay, Schulz P12, Halgard P13. You know, that was our provisional pole. That was our pole position of qualifying, and he becomes P13. Dawn P14, Krebs P15. The McLaren teammates very far behind. Jabber, Wilson, and Shaw and Corsial. I don't think finished the race whatsoever. We didn't even see anything of B. Wilson or Jay Shaw, so maybe a massive crash there. But that'll be it for today, guys. That'll be the race. That'll be it. And it was a good race. I think it ended as we kind of expected it to end. No massive surprises. Nothing crazy out there. But it was a good race all in all. That will be the end of South Africa Kyalami round 9 of season 3 of ACC Assetto Corsa Competizione. I have had a great time chatting with you all in the chat today. I hope anyone that's new in here comes next week. I will be here again to do the stream. Hopefully with my usual streamer. If not, maybe we get a bit of a guest one. Maybe we get a guest one to come in. But if not, you have me, so I will be here. So I will see you guys next week. I hope you enjoyed the race, and if you're not already, click the follow button. Massively appreciated. So I'll see you guys then. Let me just, yeah. Cheers, chum. Take care of yourself, mate. See you guys.